What's good, y'all? It's your boy Patchworks, and I'm here with a very special individual today. He goes by none other than Marquand Smith, and Marquand has a very special story. It's something totally different than I can actually say that I've ever known personally, and I would like to welcome you, man. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
It's good, man. Congratulations on your series, Shot by Patchworks.
Thank you. I appreciate
Thank you for having me on your platform.
Thank you. So, for those who don't know who you are, he might look familiar to a few of you, but for those who don't know who you are, tell them where are you from? Where did your story begin?
To those who don't know who I am, I'm his brother.
Like, that is one of the most honest answers I've ever heard. But yeah.
Nah, but I'm not here for that. That's family. But I'm the initiating creator of a show called The Godfather of Harlem that's on Epix right now, and you can see it every Sunday at 9 p.m.
That's so dope, and not for nothing, with no bias, okay? Because you kind of made it hard to follow that. I ain't gonna lie, but with no bias, like, how does an individual like yourself create a TV show? Like, where did that idea even come from?
I think I've been creating, and we grew up in the same household, is that when you come from not having a lot, you try to create and paint pictures and hope for opportunities to be able to tell narratives and tell stories. And, I first started, my career was in the music industry. And I was blessed to go on a road with an individual by the name of Timothy Brown. People know him in Far Rockaway as Father MC. And that's my brother from another, you know what I'm saying? And it started back in 89, 90, and I started touring with him. I was touring with Tony, Candyman, Troop, High Five, Second to None, Salt and Pepper, EPMD. So I got an opportunity to travel the world and see different places, I tell people all the time that Father MC being on the road saved my life because I could have been somewhere else. And growing up in Far Rockaway, I was a kid, I came from a nice home, but I always saw myself in the streets. I was always hanging in the projects across the water, being in the 40s or Edgemere, Redfern, or Hamels. Anybody that's watching that know these are housing projects, notorious housing projects that are in Far Rockaway. So Father gave me an opportunity to see a different place that I would never have seen.
You want to know what's so crazy? Like, when you talk about that, it jolts like memories in my head. I'm not even gonna lie, Father coming by the house and, just seeing you in your element. And that might not have been something that I totally understood at that time, but like, what from that can you really take and say that, listen, this right here, like, at what point did you know that is exactly what you wanted to do for the rest of your life? Because right now you're in a position where you have not only created something that somebody has told you no 1,000,000 times for, 1,000,001 times, but what solidified you saying, like, nah, this is what I'm gonna do and I'm not even gonna stop?
Well, it comes from, the street element of not wanting to go back to where I was at. That's my brother right here. You're listening to his show, Shot by Patch. We have the same birthday, November 19th.
Which is
but
crazy.
We're opposite. Like, I'm more night and he's more day. I mean, I was a kid that was always getting incarcerated, mom showing up at court early in the morning, coming out the bullpen, being in Spofford, being in juvenile facilities. I wanted to do something totally different. And that was me just rebelling. And it still goes back to, Far Rockaway. I used to love to watch movies. If you asked me what I wanted to do growing up, I would have said I wanted to be the first black James Bond because I loved, watching Sean Connery and Roger Moore.
Does that explain all the coups? Like, let's get into this. Does that explain all the coups?
You know what? When you're building blocks and you're building a foundation, David Brinkley said it best. you take the bricks that someone else is throwing at you, and you build your own foundation. And that's exactly what I did. You know, I love movies. I love to read. You know, that's a fun fact about me. I love to read. You know, these are the things that kept me mentally, you know, stable. Other than that, you know, I'll be out in the streets. I'll be doing things I didn't need to be doing, and just watching movies like On the Waterfront, or Down These Mean Streets, or Rebel Without a Cause, or, you know, Urban Cowboy. You know, things like that. Those are movies that I kind of gravitated to, and I started to learn who different directors were, like Francis Coppola. One of my favorite movies is it's crazy, it's by Sergio Leone, Once Upon a Time in America, you know. Mm-hmm. And these are movies that I started to see the different producers and the directors, and I started to learn the craft of filmmaking and movie making, and, you know, producers and the DPs and the cinematographers. So this is something I've always wanted to do.
So right now, your title is executive producer, creator, and you're also acting in the show. How the hell does that happen all in one shot?
When I first got my deal, I remember I was in LA. I was at Walt Disney Studios. I have a deal with ABC Signature, and he sat me down and said, for a person such as yourself to become an executive producer, as well as get your show greenlit, as well as act in your show, you better off getting struck by lightning twice. So I got struck by lightning twice, and I'm here. I mean, it might sound cliche-ish, but one of my favorite sayings is carpe diem, seize the day, seize the moment. Tomorrow is not promised to you. If you dream it, you could achieve it. You know, I didn't put myself in my own TV series. I had to actually go out there and audition, you know, along with everybody else. And it was kind of weird with my peers sitting behind me, and I'm coming in, you know, I'm sitting on the couch watching other actors come in for parts, and then I became that, you know what I'm saying? But it gave me the tenacity and the determination to never give up. Like, you know, I'm the new kid on the block. I'm the youngest executive producer. I get hazed a lot, you know, but the hazing is not a part of hatred. It's more of me learning, you know. And I appreciate the journey that I had to go through to get to where I'm at right now.
So do you believe in the saying? It was so crazy. Shout out to Felon Magazine, because they did an article on you, and one of the questions that they asked was, it kind of hit me, and I want to ask you that question again. Like, do you feel as if that you have to suffer to be successful?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're here thinking that, one thing I tell people is this: nobody owes you shit. And when you get it out of your mind that nobody owes you shit, you'll be able to move on in life. And that's whether you're in the entertainment industry, that's whether if you're going to get 2 masters or getting your doctorate or anything in life, nobody owes you shit. And I realized that, man. I got 1,000 no's before I got 1 yes. You know, I got turned down by multiple casting directors, and I decided I want to create my own destiny. I want to create my own lane and go out there and tell my own narrative and tell my own story. Therefore, you control your own destiny. You don't have to worry about puppet masters that's controlling you.
You have a lot of relationships in this game. I ain't gonna lie. Your relationships definitely have not only inspired me to actually push to continue my dream, but at the end of the day, it shows that, you know, it's not about what you know, it's really about who you know. And shout out to Bel Air, because this is more than champagne. It's a staple of success. It's a staple of greatness. And as we sip this right now, like I truly feel as if this is our first championship moment that we're actually celebrating together. And that's a sidebar. But I will say this, at the end of the day, I truly admire your hustle, and I admire your grind. And this is definitely a time where I want to be able to, for not only you, because, you know, of who you are and what you're doing, But for everyone out there, everyone needs to get their flowers now.
Absolutely.
Now.
I look at life and see every day that we are mortals. We're not immortal. Hustling, it's not just about hustling, it's about curating your hustle. Jordan Belfort said it first. I'll give you a pen. Now sell that pen back to me. You know what I'm saying? You have to really understand where you want to go in life. So many people have dreams, but they have dreams all over the place. You want to play NFL football, but you want to play basketball, but you want to be in the NHL. There's nothing wrong with that. But you have to master your element, and that's something that I've always learned, just to master your element and where you at.
I want to touch, and that's what you just said. That's it right there. And especially for y'all kids out there who's listening, like what he's saying right now is where it's at. I want to touch on your relationships in the industry. You have Swiss Beats as the music supervisor. Well, he is the music supervisor on Godfather of Harlem. How has that relationship been with how the music is curated? Because you have a big music background. As you stated earlier, you was touring with Tupac. You did a whole lot of things with a slew of artists. What about your personal relationship as growing in the music industry? How did that help bringing everything together for Godfather of Harlem?
Well, Swiss, big shout out to Swiss and Grady and Mo. Swiss is what I call a Dr. Frankenstein, and when he made the music for Godfather, I remember going in Jungle Studios, and in every studio, you may see Rick Ross in one, you may see Dave East in another, you may see Jim Jones or DMX, R.I.P. in another. He's able to paint pictures. He's able to put teams together. He's like Phil Jackson. He'll put you in a room and just put on a clip of Godfather, and you're telling your story, and he'll come back and finish it and curate it and make it sound amazing. Big shout out to Swiss. And to answer your question about relationships are everything, man. You got to be careful and who you step on, because the same toes you step on may be the same ass you got to kiss going up in the ladder of success. I was always taught it's a book called The Mailroom. It's a Hollywood book about agents. Mm-hmm. Agents that started off in the mailroom, but now they're big agents. You give respect to everybody. You show everybody the same decency, and that's how you move. That's how I moved. I can remember being on tour with Father, and and Father may be the main act, and before him maybe Boyz II Men opening for Father, or Jodeci opening for Father. Mm-hmm. But I kept relationships, because you know what? They're going to be the main act one day. You feel what I'm saying? Like Boyz II Men became that main act. Jodeci became that main act, So it's all about the relationships. Don't burn bridges if you don't have a canoe.
That's deep. I've never even thought of it like that. That's super dope. I know you have to have a crazy story of when you was on tour back in those days. What's the craziest story you had with let's say Pac? What's your craziest Pac story?
Well, the relationship with me and Pac, that was one of my good friends, because I was a roadie. And if you know what a roadie means, definition of a roadie, I did the grunt work. I carried the coffins. I wasn't the guy. I was the last one off, first one off, last one back on the bus. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't there for like the after parties and the wild orgies with the groupies and none of that. I had to break down the stages and stuff like that. So me and Pac, we used to
I'm not to cut you off. Were you getting paid though?
Yeah, absolutely. I was making, back then I was making about $1,000 a week for a young kid. And it was so crazy. Dudes that I knew were selling drugs in the projects, and they would laugh at me because they knew I carried a suitcase. But I'd rather be carrying a suitcase than be running from TNT. You feel what I'm saying? So I would go back and I have $1,000 every week. I would get $1,000. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I love Father, because Father made sure that I had a budget. It came out of his budget for me to be paid. So back to your question about the story.
Yeah.
Me and Pac, we were roadies. Pac was he was a roadie for Digital Underground. Big shout out to Cletus Mack and Money B, R.I.P. to Shock G. Those are my friends to this day. And we used to be so mad that what we used to do was get little small pills from the hotel and fill it up with water, garbage pills.
Okay.
And we would knock on everybody's door and say room service. So they were like room service. As soon as they would open the door, and we would run down the hallway. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
So they used to hate us for that. You know what I'm saying? But that was us taking our animosity out. You know what I'm saying on everybody else, man. But I miss Pac. Pac. We used to sit down and have these memorable talks about just two young black men trying to make it.
That's what's up. That's definitely what's up. See, stories like that, I could listen all day to, because you want to know what? I was so young at that time. I really didn't understand who you were around until later on in life. Like, oh shit, like this guy is around this guy, you know. But it's definitely a blessing right now to be able to actually sit down and speak about it.
Yeah.
So tell me, what are you working on next? What's your next thing? I know you guys are hopefully gearing up for season 3, okay? Yeah. Because season 2 was fire. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I ain't know you had it in you, Junie. I ain't know you had it in you.
Yeah.
Talk about season 2. How was it going back from the grand opening to now you're doing the second season?
To be honest with you, bro, I tell people all the time, man, don't look at my breakthrough. Look what I've been through.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's giving you, oh my God, you got a show. But look what I took to get to that show. It took me 18 years. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have the cheerleaders that I had back then 18 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So I really didn't know how surreal it was, even when the first action. You know what I'm saying? And I just was like, okay, this is a TV series. But talking to Forrest plenty of nights, he guided me and told me, he said, man, you're in a different world right now. You're not in the Oz anymore. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it was surreal. You know what I'm saying? But I knew this was my brother's dream as well. Like, this is show he's doing. I've always was the type to make sure that I reach back out to him. You know what I'm saying? I've done that plenty of times to make sure that he's good and he can learn his craft. You feel what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, people come around and they support you now and they claim that they're giving you flowers, but you were never the gardener. You didn't have the water hose to make that flower go up. You know what I'm saying? So when people say they're giving you flowers now, it's like, man, where was you with the seeds and the water? You feel what I'm saying?
I'm not even gonna lie.
You know what I mean? So I've learned the process of, just creating and curating, and keep perfecting your craft.
Mm-hmm. I'm not even gonna lie. I remember the day that you got that phone call, and we were standing literally on the front lawn, and like it was just like, I didn't know what was going on with you, bro, but you did this sonic boom dash like Sonic, how the kids be running, and you was just running around in a circle.
Well, I'll tell you, man, that was a dark part of my life. Like, people, I say this, right? The loudest boos come from the cheapest seats, right? Mm-hmm. How you gonna boo about LeBron James from the nosebleeds, right? And if the beer man don't even want to come there serve you any peanuts or bring you any beer, it's too far up. But you saying LeBron ain't shit, but he's making that much amount of money, right? See, people, even parents could be dream killers. They don't know your dream. You know what I'm saying? You only know your dream, right? When you go to sleep at night, those are your dreams. That's not anybody else's dreams. I tell people all the time, if you knock an opportunity's door and it doesn't open, go to Home Depot, buy your own lumber, build your own door, and open it. You feel what I'm saying?
You hear that?
You know what I mean?
That's
so
real.
What my brother is saying, yeah, I was happy because I just got turned down by 3 networks. You know what I mean? I turned down by 3 networks, and it's in television, when you're selling a show, once a network turns you down, that's it. There's no coming back saying, please, Mr. Ted Sarandos at Netflix, please give me another opportunity to come in and pitch. Doesn't happen like that. You feel what I'm saying? So I was at a point in my life like I didn't know what I was going to do. This is the only peace of mind I ever had, the serenity I ever had was to create. So hearing from Forrest, hey, why you not picking up your phone? We just sold this in the room. Now you talking to somebody, everybody wants success, but everybody's not willing to eat tuna fish sandwiches. Everybody's not willing to lay on the floor when they can't afford a hotel, so they're sleeping in a garage or sleeping on somebody's floor. Everybody's not willing to fly on a buddy pass because they can't afford the market rate to get on a plane, knowing they got a meeting at Netflix on Monday morning, so they got to get out of JFK. So they're trying to find their way to make it to that meeting. So people want success, but are you ready for success? And that's what I was going through at the time. So when people come right now and tell me how proud they are of me, it's kind of like hard for me to resonate and say thank you, because of all the things, I don't know, maybe it's post-traumatic syndrome or whatever it is, but all the things that I went through to get to where I'm at right now.
So, do you feel as if you made it?
Nah, I feel like I'm doing good, but you can't, it's just like this. If Michael Jordan felt like he made it, he wouldn't be the greatest of all time. Right. You still have more to go. You have still more to elevate, you know? I feel like God has put me in a place where I'm able to get those phone calls and people want to mess with me right now for certain reasons or deal with me or have business relations with me, but I don't feel like I've made it. I will never feel like I made it. You feel what I'm saying? If you feel like you made it, that's you being comfortable.
Facts. And being comfortable is not the key, y'all. It's definitely not the key. What's Marquand investing in right now? What's your, how do you feel as if moving forward now, you're at a certain level, all right? What investments do you feel as if that you should be making to continue and not just...
Marquand invests in himself. Marquand invests in more telling great stories to the audience. You feel what I'm saying? Because you have to keep it coming because everybody wants to know what's next. It's not what you did yesterday, it's what you're doing today. You feel what I'm saying? I am blessed to have a second season. You know, God willing, we get a third season. That gives me another opportunity to be great.
Absolutely.
Get a fourth season, that's another opportunity. So you keep keeping your narrative out there and you keep creating. You invest in your craft, you know? If you're an artist, what do? You gotta invest in tools. Whether it's acrylic, whether it's oil, whether it's an easel, whether it's brushes, you keep investing in yourself.
Dope. That's definitely what's up. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. Like, I feel as if that at the end of the day, there's just this certain charisma about how, it's not even only how I know you, it's just the fact of the way you're even speaking. Like, it has this infectious, like, feel behind it, and that I believe that that's something that the whole world needs to have. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I come from a place where even as a kid, man, it's crazy. Like, you know, where I didn't have a lot of nice things. You know, it wasn't that we grew up in the projects and, you know, little John was sleeping on me and he was peeing in the bed like Ghostface said. It was just in our household that's not what it was. So even as an adult, you know, certain things that I didn't have when I was growing up, it resonates to me now. I'm a sneakerhead. I love sneakers. You know, I love clothes. I love fashion. You know, these things as a kid growing up, they affect you even as an adult. You know what I'm saying? Even when you get money, you're like, man, I'm still looking for deals. I'm still looking for sales because I don't want to go back to where I was, you know what I'm saying, of not having, you know what I mean? So, you know, people laugh at me like, oh, you don't want to spend, you got money to go buy a Mercedes right now and you got 80,000. Nah, man, I'm looking for that cheap, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking for a deal on that Mercedes, you know what I'm saying? So that's how I am because you know what? One thing I've learned from Forrest was, we had a conversation at one time and he said, you know, if the majority of individuals in America, they are working from check to check. So if you have $1,000 in your bank account right now and you're able to lose it, you're doing better than a lot of other people, you know what I'm saying? that's why it's important to me to keep creating and creating good content. I'm not trying to be 50. I'm not trying to be Lena Waite. I'm not trying to be Lee Daniels. I'm not trying to be Issa Rae. I'm trying to be Marquand Smith and tell stories I call edutainment, entertaining and educational at the same time.
Super dope. Is there any future in possibly directing for you?
Yeah, and I would love to master everything. You know, I'm mastering, you know, being in the sandbox as an actor with Giancarlo Esposito and Vincent D'Onofrio and Forrest Whitaker and Paul Savino and Chaz Palminteri, Nigel Thatcher and all these wonderful thespians.
If y'all don't know who this guy is talking about, boy, you had Godfather of Harlem. Like the lineup was heavy.
So when you ask me the question about directing, I would love to try it, but I want to master my craft. I just did a movie in Atlanta called Sin, you know, with Shiggy.
Shout out to Shiggy.
Big shout out to Shiggy and a lot of big influencers. Johnny Blades, my boy Sean Nelson.
Okay.
You know, so
shout out to Sean. What up, boy?
So learning your craft, I tell people every day, you know, don't get into the business and just say, I want to be an actor or I want to be a director without learning your craft. Go to Barnes and Nobles, get acting for dummies or directing for dummies or producing for dummies. Learn your craft, learn about blocking, learn about lighting, learn about the 50s and the 35s on a camera lens. And this might all sound like Chinese arithmetic to you, but when you're on set, they're gonna know the weakest link. So you make sure you go out there, and this is to your audience, and learn your craft. Don't say you want to be in the NFL and then get hit and be like, oh shit, I don't want to be in the NFL no more. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
for real.
Don't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. So before I really let you go, what's one piece of advice that you could give to the youth right now? Because I'm heavy on, you know, just informative direction for people who, and individuals and youth, for the youth that just really don't know, you know?
Let me tell you something, man. Advice? One thing about the youth of today, I want you guys to realize that you guys are not immortal. You're mortal. Tomorrow is definitely not promised you. There's no bunk beds in the graveyard. When I leave, I can't call my brother and say, yo, I'm about to go. You ready? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's just me going, you know what I'm saying? And I see this every day, like I'm dealing with something right now, but I promised my brother I would come.
And I appreciate
you know what I'm
that.
saying, and do his show. But, you know, a good friend of mine has cancer. God knowing, I don't know when he's going to be able to, you know, if he'll be able to wake up tomorrow. So I tell the youth out there, take life very serious. If you dream it, you could achieve it. Go for yours. Don't let anybody kill your dreams or kill your flames under you. You know, put the wind behind you and just go for yours.
Yeah, that's real. That's real talk right there. And I really appreciate you being here. I do wanna just say one thing. From the start of, or the inception of trying to put this together, speaking with you has been the most satisfying thing I've ever experienced in the past umpteen years of my life. And just being able to have this conversation, I think it's very important that, you know, just men, women, all type of individuals,
you know what it is?
Sit down and we talk.
You know what it is? I never thought 18 years ago having conversations with a lady by the name of Margaret Johnson, who's like my godmother, who passed away December of 2016, that her conversations and my drive to get a show will be able to feed families. And when I'm on season one, when season one started and I was on set and I had Teamsters come up to me and say, Marquand, thank you for never giving up, because you never giving up has allowed me to take care of my family for the next 6 months.
Whew. Talk about it.
You know,
talk about
you never giving up has allowed actors to provide for their families, and you know, and yeah, man, there was plenty of nights where I was just in deep thought, like How am I paying my rent, man? I ran up my American Express. I ran up my Discover card. And I know a couple of them probably still looking for me, you know what I'm saying, right now. But, you know, that's the part of growing pains and going for your dreams.
Yeah.
You know, going for your dreams is never a pretty journey. If somebody told you they went for their dreams and their knees ain't scarred or they didn't twist any ankles, they didn't break any limbs or get into a mental breakdown, you know what I'm saying, they're lying to you, because to gather and go for your dreams, you gotta strap up and be a soldier about it.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Well, I really appreciate your time. And not only that, I'm definitely gonna put this into the air. This conversation will happen again.
Absolutely.
And I definitely, once again, like I said, I appreciate your time, bro.
Thank you for having me, man.
And
God bless you with this Shot by Patchwork series.
Thank you.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
appreciate it.
Yeah.
And it's definitely, I'm gonna have something on your table very soon.
I feel like I'm in the ghetto inside behind the actors, inside the actors studio or something.
Listen. I mean, look, it's all good.
Nah.
Because even if
I love it though, but you need that.
So, trust me.
Yeah.
Trust me. SAG, we got him covered. Okay?
We ain't have no crafty here though.
Covered, okay?
We ain't have no crafty or catering, but it's all good, man. Big shout out to Bel Air.
Yeah,
this is not just an experience. This is a lifestyle.
Yeah,
I've drunk this with the big man himself a few times, and
yes, absolutely.
appreciate you for having me once again, Patch.
Thank you, bro. Listen, we're gonna do this again. Look,
absolutely.
Thank y'all for tuning in. It's your boy Patchworks, and I'm gonna see y'all next week. All right, later.
Peace.